So you are a successful engineer or product manager at a great company, let's say Google or any other top tech company. Now, the title of engineering manager or manager of product management would sound like a reasonable next level for you, right? But what if I told you that for most people, it's not actually a promotion, it's just a career change and it might not be best for you. If you are even thinking about making that leap, this is the video you should be watching first before making that decision. Hi, I am Vinay Bansal and welcome to V Top 10. I have worked as engineering manager and senior engineering manager at companies like Nike and Google. I have worked through all the levels of individual contributor as engineer, starting from intern till lead engineer before turning into the management role. I have been in your shoes. I have also had same thoughts. Should I make this move to engineering manager? Should I continue on my path towards the individual contributor? I want to help you decide whether taking this move to management role is the best decision for you. You will be learning by end of this video what are the different responsibilities and roles for the manager versus individual contributor. What are the other opportunities or areas that you can explore being individual contributor to grow in your career? Okay, we need to start by understanding the first and very important point. That is, the management is not a promotion. It's actually a different career track. When you are individual contributor, your performance is dependent on the work that you do and what you deliver. But while being manager, your performance would be a lot dependent on your team's performance as a whole. How your team is able to deliver their deliverables and how they are able to grow in their career and in terms of the quality of the work that they are delivering. Your day-to-day focus shifts from deep individual technical work towards activities like team coordination, individual development, strategic planning, and communication. You still need to have deep technical knowledge, but skills like communication, empathy, and strategic thinking would become more central. I've seen some exceptionally performing individual contributors like lead engineers and lead product managers who struggle to perform when they are promoted to being manager. Now, the problem behind that is they are no longer doing what they were great at doing. For example, a lead engineer would be great at doing individual coding work, but when they become manager, they're doing less of that and more of the management stuff which they are completely new at. So now we need to deep dive into what are main manager responsibilities. We can divide management responsibilities into three key areas: people leadership and development, driving execution and operations, and strategic contributions. People leadership and development would be one of the core principal areas of responsibilities of a manager. It involves activities like mentorship and coaching, which means you'll be having one-on-ones with your direct reports, helping them resolve any issues with their project or relating to their performance. You'll be providing them mentorship and coaching so they're able to deliver their deliverables and achieve their goals. You'll also be responsible for collecting feedback for them from different stakeholders, which is something what we call 360 feedback. This feedback will be used for their performance evaluation and pay updates at the end of the year. One of the most difficult part of the people management is having difficult conversations. Difficult conversation includes meetings and conversations when you need to give them, let's say, negative feedback, when you're not able to give them a promotion when they are expecting that, when, let's say, you have to give them rating lower than what they have been expecting, or sometimes you might need to lay off someone. There could be different types of conflicts. Some could be within your team and some could be between your team and other stakeholders. Being a people manager, you will be the one responsible for resolving all of those conflicts. Being manager of the team, you'll also be responsible for setting up the team culture and morale. This involves organizing and facilitating sprint ceremonies, organizing team outings, team bondings, and other such activities, and also making sure there are enough team recognition activities organized. You'll be actively involved in making decisions relating to hiring for your team as well as for some of the other teams. You'll be actively interviewing different candidates, you'll be shortlisting resumes, as well as making final decisions and call as a hiring manager whom to hire for your team and your domain. Once any individual is hired, you'll also need to make sure that they are provided with enough resources and guidance so they are able to onboard efficiently within the team. I remember my time working with one of the top tech companies wherein a new manager was supposed to join. This manager was working as a lead engineer previously and was promoted recently to engineering manager role. I was the one responsible for mentoring them and training them so they are able to take over some of the teams which I was managing at that time. He was able to ramp up pretty quickly. He used all the documentation and resources which I provided him. We did some of the people management meetings collectively where he would shadow me initially and then later in some meetings I would shadow him so that he would get a strong grasp of how these meetings are to be conducted. Today, as I know this person, he is an exceptional engineering manager. He is able to lead multiple teams efficiently and is able to drive results from those teams. Moving on to the second key area of being a manager, that is driving execution and operations. This again involves multiple activities being a manager, starting with the project planning and execution, which means we'll be responsible for prioritizing the projects, making sure the projects are delivered on time, setting up the right timelines for those projects. We'll also be the ones responsible for efficient and effective delivery of a project, which means taking the responsibility of end-to-end project management. We'll need to monitor the progress of any project before and after it is delivered. We need to make sure that there are minimum to no incidents once a project is delivered to the client or customer. If there are any issues with the project, we need to get them resolved as fast as possible. Another key area of being a manager is effective delegation. This might seem very easy task at first, but it's actually very complicated. Delegation means you will need to get some tasks done effectively by others, mainly by your direct reports. I remember when I initially became a manager, it was very frustrating for me to get some tasks done by someone else. I knew that I could have done that task in less amount of time with better quality. As I continued my journey, I was able to learn that getting tasks done from different people and empowering them to do any task which you can do better, it's still more productive than doing the task yourself. We need to control our frustration and emotions. We need to make sure that people are empowered, and that is the power of management, from doing yourself to empowering others to do that work. Let's talk about what are the upsides and advantages of being a manager. To begin with, you'll be creating a wider, broader impact towards the org, towards the company, being at higher level, being able to deliver more results as collectively through the team. You could be someone who gets joy and excitement out of your team success, out of the growth of individual team members within the career, as well as the learning growth that they will be having along the way. You will be working on building something bigger, building high-performing teams and a positive culture. You will be focusing on different skill sets, let's say communication, conflict resolution. There are actually a lot of downsides to being a manager from individual contributor. To begin with, you'll be doing less of hands-on coding work. Now, if you are someone who enjoys coding like me, this could definitely be a major disadvantage being a manager. Now, when you become a manager, you will find new stressors and new responsibilities. Some of these could be very pressurizing, and these you will not find when you are individual contributor. You will have a lot of pressure which you would be taking on yourself, preventing your team from getting that pressure and still making sure your team is able to deliver. Another challenge being a manager is context switching and meeting life. You'll be having a lot of meetings, and most of these meetings might not be relevant also to each other. Another challenge would be the people problems part, wherein you would be listening to people complaining about the work that they're doing, the workspace area, or even extending to their personal problems a lot of times. You need to stay unbiased in almost all these situations. This could be very, very challenging at times and also very tiring. You can in a lot of times create a wider impact being individual contributor at a senior level compared to engineering manager or manager of product management. You can still grow within your domain, within your core area, being individual contributor. You can still lead through expertise, your vision, and helping others gain that technical knowledge while doing hands-on work yourself. You could do all this without having direct reports, which means your work would speak for yourself. Your work and your performance would not be dependent on work of your direct reports or your team. Whatever work you are doing will be counted towards your own performance. If you are someone who still enjoy hands-on coding and don't want to get into shenanigans of the people part, this could be something which is what you are actually looking for. While working with companies like Nike and Google, I have worked with some individual contributors who are at higher level, at architect or distinguished engineer level. They are able to create wider impact that they could have ever done while being a manager. They enjoy the work that they do and would never choose to be a manager. I have also seen a lot of people who worked as manager initially but were not happy with the level of responsibilities, so they chose to transition to individual contributor roles at their same level. You need to ask yourself some questions, starting with what are you passionate about? Are you passionate about the design architecture, the technical problems for the work that you are doing, or you are excited solving team level problems, the organization level problems, and people level problems? What do you think are your natural strengths? Are you great at coding? Are you great at the technical work? Or you are great at working with people, working with teams, demonstrating the work to the leadership or to different teams? What is it that you enjoy doing the most? What is it that you are great doing at? Remember the times wherein you delivered exceptional work. What was it? How did you arrive to that solution? There is no right or wrong solution in general, but for you, definitely there would be something which is right or wrong. Because if you're not enjoying the work that you're doing, no matter how well you're doing it, you will never be satisfied and fulfilled. You would ask your manager to give you some roles and responsibilities of a manager while continuing to stay being individual contributor. A lot of managers would be very helping and would offer you some responsibilities and also insights on how is it being a manager within your team or within your domain. I understand it's a very important step that you are willing to take. If you still have some questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer most of those within the comments itself. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe this channel. It will really help me to be motivated to create more such videos to help you in your career. Thank you.